But when we talked about a great change leader, we kind of think about three, based on our experience, three sort of core principles, if you like. One of these came up quite a lot in that sort of word cloud, which was there's something around communication style. A great change leader actually is conscious of communication style. It's an important part of how they lead, understanding how expressing ideas and sharing information changes in the way that we interact with different people. So communication style was kind of one key pillar of creating an engaged audience. The second key pillar actually for us was self-awareness. So that conversation around, as a leader, am I actually able to recognize my own way of communicating, my own preferences? Am I able to recognize my own style? Do I have a language for describing that? And also, do I understand what my natural behavioral tendencies are? So we will all, it's not that we're any one thing as human beings, but we all have a natural preference for the way that we engage with other people. And self-awareness, the understanding of what that preference is, we tend to find is critical to building that human connection and that engaged audience, because it's just too easy to do the thing that comes naturally to us. And it can make us a kind of a one path, a one way of engaging with people, which will work for some people, but will equally not work for other people. The third piece of the human connection and a great change leader from our perspective and our sort of experience, and this actually came up, I think, in a couple of the word clouds, is emotional intelligence. So if we think about self-awareness in the sense of actually what's your style and your personality and your preference around how you see and interact with the world, the emotional intelligence piece is a bit more visceral than that. It's actually the ability to recognize, to understand, and even to manage our emotional reactions. And again, that gets heightened in change. Change typically will make people feel uncomfortable, whether you're a leader of change or a recipient of change. Some people will feel a lot less uncomfortable and be quite happy in an environment that's fairly fluid. But for a lot of people, that sense of change will create a sense of uncertainty. Actually, that can even move to a trigger of an emotional reaction, whether it's triggering your fight, flight, freeze, that sense of I want to maintain safety, I want to maintain structure around me. So being able to understand actually the emotional component of how I'm feeling as a change leader, but also recognize the emotional component of how others are feeling as a change leader is super critical to being able to engage with that audience. So in the context of how do you create human connection? How do you engage an audience? We kind of see these three things as being critical to that conversation. How we can understanding the power and the effect of our communication style, but being aware of our own preferences in that and being cognizant to the response of people emotionally. Why are people picking up on that question around why do people see change in that as potentially a threat or uncomfortable? I think it comes in a couple of different senses. As I say, for some people, change will actually be quite something they quite look forward to. It's kind of exciting, it's different. But equally, we've kind of been programmed over probably millennia to look for safety, look for security. And when things happen around us that are unexpected or are different to what we are anticipating as the norm, it creates a sense of uncertainty. It's interesting. I mean, a bit of a sidebar conversation, but some of the neuroscience that they do nowadays, when you think about fight, flight, freeze reactions, you think about adrenaline pumping, all that stuff, and you think about it in the context of history, and it was designed to keep us safe when the saber-toothed tiger rampaged across the veldt in the ice age, and you did fight, flight, freeze, and it kept you safe. What's interesting with some of the latest research is it's suggesting that social threat is as impactful on that fight, flight, freeze reactor as physical threat. And when we go through change programs and change and transition, often in a work context, that can bring some of that social threat in as well. What's this going to mean to me? How will this affect my relationships? How will it affect my work, my life, that sort of side of it?